Hey everyone, it's time to review the last of the three Buoy Shinju. I don't know how to properly pronounce Buoy, I think. Buoy, yeah, Shinju. I'll call it Shinju, honestly. It's easier. Or Beach Shinju, that's the easiest one. Anyway, she's also a super limit burst unit. Here's the overview. She's a carbon copy of Physalis, so this is going to be probably a shorter review because I honestly copy-pasted most of the stuff. So Earth, super limit burst finisher, much like Summer Sniper Physalis. The abilities, well, pretty much the same, right? She's also a focusing unit using stacked up magic up to 300%. She has that bad 30% Earth amp, meaning you have to bring Roka instead of Nicole for this. She only has 280 magic on her kit or her Grandis. And she gains 150 Stone Killer from her Grandis as well. Has 120 Earth Imperil, the usual. The only difference really is that she has a stacking Earth magic bolting strike chain, which is cool. I like it. It's bolting strike, so that's somewhat helpful, but whatever. On the passive side of things, she easily caps out magic stone, as you can see, 200 baseline, and if you're wearing her Trustmaster, Super Trustmaster, you also gain another 100, making this 300, and 200 aquatic killer. Other than that, the usual 500 static magic at EX3, auto LB at EX plus 2. If you leveled her LB, that is the important part. If you did not level her LB to max, you will not start with the full LB gauge at EX plus 2 or higher, that is. Other than that, True Single Wield has 300 out of 400 TDH to begin with, so it's rather easy to gear for. And she has a 5x cap too, which you can see here. Alright. Has some magic, blah, 40x, water, earth. Moving on. The SLB and LB, they are pretty much the same as with Summer Sniper Physalis, 125 Imperil to the element she's using, Earth that is in this case, still not 135 or 130, so that's kind of meh. 35 Earth Amp, which is meh, so you still have to bring Roka. And just like Summer Sniper Physalis, her SLB only buffs the killers Aquatic and Stone by 100%, so kind of a moot point when her Grandis does 150. But anyway, it's a 300 magic, Earth magic damage SLB, which is pretty high, all things considered. The only higher are the premium units, so this one tends to hit pretty hard. And you'll see that in a few minutes. The LB itself, kind of whatever. Alright, Trustmaster and Super Trustmaster. I personally like both. The materia for LB crystals per turn and 20 lightning, water, wind, earth resistance. It's a decent elemental Tetris TMR, honestly, with 4 LB crystals on it too. It's certainly useful and I might use it sometime down the line. It's not that bad, honestly. The accessory is the Super Trustmaster, 70 magic, decent. It's only 2 magic worse than the 3 materia we've had for ages, but it's fair. Not material, accessory, Cursed Doll Plus, that is. But it has 20 earth and water resistance, 100% charm resistance, and an added bonus of 100% LB fill rate, which I pretty like. It's a good STMR. Nothing too outstanding, truth be told, but it's good, and the fill rate will have its use for units such as Angela when she doesn't need to wear double Yuna STMR to max her LB. So this is something I'm looking forward to use whenever I get Shinju, that is, obviously. But yeah, pretty good, pretty good. The vision card, same deal, it's still trash. Moving on. I explained this in my other 2 reviews, so if you really want to have my opinion on this, check the Summer Physalis review. I explain why there. The damage calculations. Now, I made an update to this slightly because I realized I wasn't treating Earth magic DPS fairly. I forgot about the 25% magic Earth amp field from Lunar Freya, Titan that is. And I wasn't using the 25% Imperil field, which is only the enemy side, from C card. So I included that and updated the list. Luckily, we don't have any Earth damage dealers other than, what's his name? Diverity for magic. And Noppy. Yeah, I could update Noppy, but Noppy. No, she isn't sadly that useful for Dark Visions, but more so for Clash. So this is the build. Oops, it still states Physalis as you can see, not Shinju. My bad. But yeah, this is the Shinju build. Pretty standard. She doesn't quite reach 300 Demon Killer here. That's to be said about Diablos only having 125 physical Demon Killer and only 75 magical, but it's still okay. And this is the damage comparison. So Beach Shinju slightly outperforms Physalis, as you can see. One of the reasons is the Imperil field here, truth be told, because Summer Physalis, she can only choose between either the two, right? Either she gains 25% Elemental Amp for magic, or she gains the 25% Imperil field. You cannot have both, because the Imperil field is both sides of the playing field, and the Water Amp from Lunar Freya is also on both playing fields. So it's either or, but not both. And Shinju has the upside if you summon Titan first and then use the Imperil field from C card, you will have the Earth field on your side that amps your magic damage, and on the enemy side of things you will have exclusively that Imperil field. It's the same deal as with Nyx's light field. If you summon discount Princess Fina Behemoth field first and then the Imperil field from Nyx, you will have both of them at the same time, maximizing your damage. And that is the only reason why Shinju sims higher than Physalis. If you take away C card's field, Shinju sims a little bit lower than Physalis. And thus, Shinju is only, quote-unquote, 80% or 70.99% to be precise, of Angela's damage, which is to say, it's not a bad thing, right? Because Angela is the huge outlier in this whole charade. So whenever a unit sims higher than true dual wield Tifa, it's pretty good. And as you can see, Shinju sims higher than average damage Lara Croft's limit burst for Dark Vision scenarios. So this is pretty good, and ignore the 150 fire amp that is not being Imperil that is not being used there. I should really fix this. But yeah, simming higher than Lara Croft on average and Sephiroth on average, that is pretty good. Although it's Sephiroth with no dark field, mind you. But yeah, that is really good, but Variance strikes again. Variance makes physical DPS really shine, and it's not something that magic DPS have access to, sadly, other than the standard Variance. But yeah, Lock to Earth, best Earth magic DPS by a long shot, if you ignore Angela, that is. Because Angela, even on an Earth team, will surpass everyone, and the huge upside of Angela is she's physically typed, so she has easier options there too. Alright, so how does she fare in the meta? I mean, this is pretty much carbon copied from Physalis, I'll be honest here, so she is the best Earth mage in the game, if you don't count Angela. But please keep in mind, she too does only power up and then fire away her SLB every 3 to 5 turns. Has a super boring kit, can't use chain moves as she will use the valuable storing stacks. Only 35% Earth amp, just like Physalis, so you have to bring Roka basically. And just like Summer Physalis, her SLB provides less killers than a Grandis, and I don't understand why they did this, but here we are. So should you pull? If you missed out on Angela and want a strong Earth mage, yep, you could pull, because she's pretty good. But being locked to an element and magic affinity, she will see no use outside the allocated stages to Earth in Dark Visions or Vision World. She's useless for Clash, with that said, not with that said, but with that in mind. And yeah, I would say skip unless you're a fan of hers, and also skip unless you're chasing the decent STMR. And yeah, that is pretty much it for today as well, for this review at least. I still have my flop 5 worst units video coming out. So thank you all for watching, we'll see each other later. And if you don't watch the flop 5 video, well, too bad, you should watch it, it's cool. But anyway, have a wonderful rest of the Sunday morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're from. Bye bye.